There's no doubt we have seen and felt massive changes in the film industry, whether it's streaming services cutting back and the industry kind of slowing down, AI creeping in, and the fast-pacedness of content. It has a few of us asking, is there even going to be a film industry a few years from now? To be honest with you, I'm hopeful because it has never been an easier time than now to be a filmmaker thanks to the internet. And it might just look a little bit different than what we initially set out to do, which is what I'm going to discuss in this video. Firstly, who the hell am I to give this advice? Well, my name is Matt. I'm a director and DP, and I came up in the traditional film industry doing stuff in the lighting department. I took a little bit of a turn in my career. Now I'm focusing a lot more on my personal brand, posting videos on this YouTube channel, so take that for what it is. So in order to break this down clearly, I'm going to put things into two buckets: the traditional path and what I'm going to call the new wave path. Generally speaking, the traditional path for directors looks a little bit like creating a body of work and then shopping it around to production companies and executive producers in order to get on their radar and hopefully get on their roster so that way you can get some work. The same thing applies for DPs. You'd create a body of work, then you would take it around to other directors and production companies in hopes of them liking you and getting on their radar. Everyone's career path is super different, and this is obviously just super general, but we're just going to use this as our sort of case study for this video. Speaking from personal experience, I chased the traditional path for quite a few years and found it super difficult to break into. I met with some amazing directors and collaborators that I still work with to this day, but I always just felt like my foot wasn't really in the door. And I kind of just hated the fact that I needed to wait for a yes from somebody else to just go out and create things and get work. You need a yes from a production company, an agency, a director, and it just feels like there's so many layers in between you and the actual work in order to actually get onto set and earn a paycheck as a director or a DP. But there is an upside to this career path. If you are able to break in and meet the right person and get the ball rolling, your career can be super fruitful. If you become a busy, hot working director or DP, you'll probably be met with some amazing opportunities, and to be totally honest, I wish I was doing more of that stuff. So let's say you do end up on a roster at a production company, or you're a DP that's on a few directors' radars and you're getting some work. This would actually just be the start of your career, because it's not like you can kick your feet up and work is just gonna magically come to you. You're still gonna have to be pitching yourself, you're gonna have to go for countless coffee meetings, you're still gonna have to create passion projects in order to keep your work fresh. It'll still be a grind, and you'll still hear countless rejections from production companies and agencies, and I've even experienced this myself recently because I started to reach out to production companies and I still want to work in the traditional areas of filmmaking, but it is getting harder and harder to stand out, and it's just getting a lot more competitive as well. My director and DP friends tell me all the time how rough it is in the current state of the film industry, and I just don't want to be at the whim of the industry, which is totally out of my control. So I think it is really important to protect yourself and start a personal brand, which is my next point.
What exactly do you do again?
Yeah, so I do
Synthetic. That's content.
It's where you sort of execute.
That's content creation.
You keep telling yourself, sort of just finding my way there. As we all know and feel, social media isn't going anywhere anytime soon, and I'm sure you felt the pressure of building your own personal brand as a filmmaker. There's this sort of new path that's emerging, and it's creating your own original work and monetizing it through your own personal brand. These are the two buckets that I find myself in, but this is also a little bit more of a different career path. It's more of an entrepreneurial mindset that you have to have, because you can't just be a director or a DP. You have to be creating your own schedule. You have to be marketing yourself. You have to be coming up with new ideas. You have to be shooting, editing, and directing all by yourself. If you were to tell me 5 or 6 years ago, fresh out of film school, that I'd be a YouTuber / content creator, or whatever you want to call it, I probably would have laughed in your face and I probably wouldn't have believed you. But as I go further along this path, I'm starting to see how important it is to have a personal brand for yourself, especially for the future that we're heading in. I just think the odds are going to be stacked in your favor, and you'll have much more of a chance to make it because a lot more is dependent on you. You can decide how much work you put in, and there's just way more elements that are actually within your control. There's a few different ways to monetize as well, and I'm sure you've heard it all before by now, but there's brand partnerships, affiliate links, digital products, AdSense, and I think it's really important to diversify yourself and have your eggs in many different baskets, and this is on top of my freelance work as well, which is sort of my main income stream. And I'm sort of taking the approach of investing a lot of money back into my business to create the projects that I want to create, and hopefully that'll just open more doors. But there's also a downside to this as well. It's really intimidating to fund your own projects. I made a video talking about investing over $16,500 into my portfolio, and that number is only increasing after I shot my last short film. Sure, the stakes do feel high, but it also gives you this freedom that you can just go and create on your own terms and make the work that you want to make. So it's like, why wouldn't you go and start your own personal brand? So in that sense, it's never been easier to be a filmmaker. The barrier to entry has never been lower, because if you're watching this channel, you likely own a camera as well. But that doesn't mean it won't take years of being consistent to build something that's sustainable. And to be fully transparent with you guys as well, I don't make enough money from this YouTube channel or brand partnerships to solely sustain myself on my own. That's why I'm still working as a freelancer and doing directing, DPing, one-man band gigs, whatever I can get my hands on, in order to sustain myself, and putting a lot of that money into my passion projects and sort of just trusting the process and trusting that this whole thing is going to work out. So to me, it's really about diversifying, because even if you were working in traditional film, you're going to be taking one-man band, corporate gigs, and really unsexy stuff in order to pay the bills, keep a roof over your head, and fund your passion projects. There's just way too much opportunity right now in like personal brand and this like creator economy, whatever you want to call it, in order for you to get online. So I highly encourage you to do so. Aside from the monetization factor, but building an online community and people that are invested in you as a filmmaker and as an actual person is so priceless. Like, before, in order to make that happen, you'd have to break into the industry. You'd have to like get into film festivals and know the right people, create an industry buzz. But now somebody can just watch a YouTube video or a TikTok or an Instagram, binge your content for like 10 minutes, and all of a sudden you have a fan on your side. Where else are you gonna build that today? Because that type of connection can open so many doors for you for like funding, support, and just collaboration in general. So that's what I'm striving for right now, a middle ground of both of these paths. And to be totally honest, I don't have everything figured out. I'm figuring things out as I go. These are just my observations and the direction that I'm trying to head in as a filmmaker, so take it with a grain of salt. By the way, I wrote an ebook that talks a lot more about this topic and goes a lot more in depth. It's called Film Worker to Filmmaker. It talks about making the jump from the traditional film industry into this new wave content creator, whatever you want to call it. So check it out down in the description below. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I want you to comment, "Matt is not a cat." Subscribe to my channel, check out this video I have queued up here, and I'll see you in the next.